Okay, here we go again. So, shalom, shalom. 2 shaloms are sent ahead of us in order to destroy the authors of chaos. Right? So, shalom, shalom. Scattered Israel. I am Rebekah Bat Yehovah from Teshuva Ministries, and today we are on number 5 of my 12 to 14 part series on the flat earth delusion, deception, lie, fairy tale, whatever you want to call it, it ain't true. So welcome to the show for another 20 minutes. Now this was going to take longer actually, because today we are talking about 18 flat earth fallacies and conspiracies. So we're going to cover a lot of ground today. I'm getting a little detailed today. Oh yes, so stick around. A little housekeeping before we get going is that I need you to like this video. Again, if you do, I don't want you to lie about it, okay? Subscribe to our channel in case you want to be notified of when the next one comes out, as well as, you know, everything else, all the other videos that we have in the future that will come out. And also go through all my videos and like and comment and make nice comments. Nice comments, because if you don't make a nice comment, or if you try to proselytize or something on my channel, guess what? Yeah, it doesn't get posted. No, I delete it and we block you, okay? Thank you. And we're still trying to decide if we're gonna leave comments open for this series or not. You'll find out. You'll know whether you can add a comment or not into this video. Let's see what else. Oh yes, go to our website and join up for our emails. All right, so there's a tab on our website that says join us. Click on that and then we can stay in touch. While the world goes absolutely mad, right? And it loses its mind. It has never had a sound mind. No, the world doesn't have a sound mind. The disciples, the students of Yeshua, the people of Yehovah, true Israel, they have a sound mind. Okay, we have a sound mind. We need your support because we're doing this full time and it's just one little family, and we have no other income except what Yehovah provides through you. All right, so if you've forgotten about us, please come back. Okay, yeah, this last couple months have been pretty hard. So, but here we are. I'm doing it anyway because I love Yehovah and I love the truth and I hate lies. So here we go. 18 flat earth fallacies and their conspiracies. So fallacies is what I'm after today. And oh yes, you need to be sure and watch, you know, all the videos up to this video number 5. They build on each other. So when you go to binge watch, don't watch them out of order, people. You know, I get more comfortable in front of the camera from video 1 to video umpteen, whatever it's going to be. So that's kind of fun. It's funner for me as I get into the material, but it's always a little hard to get going. But also the content builds on each other. So, what do flat earthers believe? Because we're taking down this lie. In his BuzzFeed post on January 9, 2019, Dave Sopira posted 19 of the absolute dumbest things flat earthers have actually said. Okay, so on the Flat Earth Society Facebook page, there is such a thing, people, go figure. Oh my. They posted the following statement, okay? So the statement that they made on their Facebook page is, the Flat Earth Society has members all around the globe. All right, hello? I think they have lost their minds, right? Dave found that another person, I will call them Ray, posted a question. Here's his question. Is just Earth flat or all the planets in our solar system? Okay, Flat Earth replied. This is somebody who replied whose handle was Flat Earth, is Flat Earth. Planets are round. The Earth is not one of them. So Ray got back and he says, so Earth is not a planet? No, I guess not. Whatever. Elon Musk, inventor of the Tesla, I bet you know who he is, the Tesla cars, asked Flat Earth Society, and the same page, it was so wild. He says, why is there no Flat Mars Society? So Flat Earth Society responds in Facebook again. They respond that unlike, this is a quote, unlike the Earth, Mars has been observed to be round. We hope you have a fantastic day. Okay, so somebody's on crack. Somebody's smoking something. Somebody's got their head in the sand. I don't know. It's obviously Flat Earth Society doesn't have a clue because the Earth has been observed to be round. So one particular stupid thread went like this, quote, NASA uses fisheye lenses. Look it up. They're lying to you. The response was, that doesn't prove that the Earth is flat. The other guy says, yes, it does. And the response is, so if I take a photo of a basketball with a fisheye lens, that means that the basketball is flat? And then the response from the dumbnut was, with a regular lens, no. You need a NASA secret government level one. They added a secret processor to the NASA ones. Unless we find out the source code via GitHub, then we are stuck to having basic proof. Okay. Oh, remember, I'm quoting from Dave Sapira's post, 19 of the absolute dumbest things flat earthers have absolutely said. So I want to think that people are just joking here as I'm reading these things, but actually I think that some are joking and some think this is funny, but I don't think this is the case. I think that a lot of people are stupid serious about this. So in this section, one other conversation went like this, okay, quote, there is no curve, sorry buddy, prove it if you can. So the response was of this other guy, he says, okay, quote, by using the angle of the sun at various points in the Earth, 360 degrees, you will get the Earth's circumference, Eratosthenes, I don't even know how to say that name, Eratosthenes. He's a dude that lived a long time ago. He did it in 200 BC or something like that. Okay, so he did prove it. You can look all over the internet. You can look at true science, and it is proven that there is a beautiful curve to the Earth and that it is round. Another commenter said, education is brainwashing our children. Sorry, but gravity isn't real. NASA wants us to believe that the Earth is round for no other reason than to laugh at us for believing this nonsense. I mean, it's the greatest prank of all time, so it must be true. The Earth is flat, not round. End quote. This person has been brainwashed, actually. Not people who believe in spherical Earth, but people who believe in a flat Earth, they have been brainwashed. All right, and finally, one more quote. I just got accepted into the group and I'm so happy to be with like-minded people and not poisoned by the lies of NASA and the government for more money, just like Big Pharma. I don't understand how people can be so, and so, excuse my language, silly and not understand that the Earth is flat. I mean, how does water even curve around? Lies. Australia is a complete lie that the government made. End quote. Okay, so I have friends in Australia. They live in Australia. Okay, the flat Earth people want to say that Australia doesn't exist. Okay, so whatever. I'm. So you might think that it's mean of me to point these things out and that I'm trying to make fun of people. You know what? There's stupidity out there and there's truth. There are lies and there's truth, and these are lies. So I'm pointing these things out. So go ahead and think what you want. I don't care. another ridiculously stupid belief of flat earthers, some of them, is that the Big Bang actually happened. So Ashley Evans at BibleResources.com points this out and concludes that, you know what, some of these flat earthers actually believe that we're still expanding, when of course we know, quote, we know that the earth is not continually expanding, it is complete. And as believers, we know it is complete. It was completed in the creation week, right at the very beginning. So I know that there are believers here who are listening to me that might not believe in the Big Bang Theory because they believe in creation on some level, and they believe that it was a created flat earth or whatnot, but it doesn't sound to me like a group, you know, if there's flat earthers that believe in the Big Bang, and among all the rest of the nonsense they believe, it doesn't seem like a group of people that believers should be hanging out with. If you haven't noticed, this whole subject irritates me to no end. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's continue on. In his article, 5 Things Flat Earthers Actually Believe, published on December 4, 2017 by Sean Murray, he states, Sean Murray states that flat earthers don't just merely believe the earth is flat. Oh no. Flat earthers believe in a whole host of ridiculous notions that fly in the face of basic grade school science. End quote. So the Simon Dan says that, quote, flat earthers think that it's okay to just make stuff up in order to suit their narrative. Man, you know, end quote, you know what, that sounds awfully familiar to what's happening right now across the world about all kinds of things, is it not? Yeah, people just make up stuff in order to suit their narrative, right? Well, what do we want as believers? We want Yehovah's narrative, right? We want the truth. We want the creator of all things. We want to know what his narrative is, right? And his narrative is true, because he's the one that created it, right? All right, flat earth fallacies, 18 flat earth fallacies, all right? I'm sure that there are so many more. I don't have time to research them out. You don't have the energy or the desire to watch them all, even if I did, but I can't flush them out possibly, because this flat earth nonsense and what they believe goes so deep. It's like a black hole that doesn't end. And part of the reason why I'm depressed today, part of the reason why I'm irritated with this subject, is because you could literally spend your whole entire life, you know, going down these rabbit trails and stuff. And frankly, I have more to do with my life than this. So we're going to spend a little bit of time, though. I'm going to unpack some fallacies for you so you understand, for me, so you understand where they're coming from or what they believe if you don't know, so that you can be empowered to talk to people or not. For me, only one of these is necessary. I don't even need any of them, actually, because I know that the earth is a globe. And there's so much more coming in the videos in the future here, so stay with me, because I'm going to show you why I believe what I believe. So anyway, we're going to get going with 18 fallacies that flat earthers believe. Oh, just one thing. I'm going to be making some pretty sweeping statements here, so you go right ahead and spend lots of time yourself digging into this if you want to. I'm going to suggest don't, because the black hole goes pretty deep. So I am going to read all the fallacies because this is long and I would prefer just getting this over as quickly as possible. Okay, so fallacy number 1, listen up, that the earth is a flattened disc and not a globe. Duh. Okay, that's like the biggest fallacy ever. All right, this is the mother of all lies. They believe that the earth, flat earthers believe that the earth is not a beautiful blue globe, round like the rest of the planets in our solar system, but that it is a flattened disk with ugly and dark stalactite thingies protruding from the bottom and ice flowing off its edges. Sean Murray writes, never mind the fact that great thinkers throughout history have proven that the earth is a sphere, such as Pythagoras, I don't know how to say that, Pythagoras, Pythagoras, I don't know, Plato and Aristotle, not to mention a bunch of Arabic and Asian philosophers, and nearly everything to do with modern communication depends on a spherical earth, which we're going to talk about a little bit later. Nope, according to a flat earther, Earth is flat because that's how it looks outside their window. End of story. That is a quote. I added the out their window part. To a believer, this is my words now, to a believer the earth is flat because that is the drawing they arrive at when they read the Genesis creation story and read every part of it literally. It doesn't matter to them what they see with their own eyes. Genesis said so, therefore it must be. All right? You're going to hear me talk about this later, but there's a problem with being a literalist, okay? As Tim Chaffee wrote in his article, Where Did the Idea of a Flat Earth Originate? He says, the Bible does not teach a flat earth. It does speak of the four corners in Revelation 7:1 and 28 of four corners of the earth, but it is simply referring to the four cardinal directions, okay? As in north, south, east, west, right? Nebuchadnezzar's second dream in Daniel 4 was about a tree that could be seen to the ends of the earth. The ends of all the earth, right? This description does not necessitate a belief in a flat earth, and even if it did, it is given during a dream, hardly a place to receive scientific insight. The Bible does not teach a flat earth, no matter how badly the critics may wish it did. End quote. Okay, so that's what my whole entire series is about. Disproving the idea, the fallacy, the lie, the propaganda, the conspiracy theory, the fairy tale that some people are believing that Earth is flat. Okay, so fallacy 1 covers it all. All right, let's go on. All right, fallacy number 2 is that the North Pole is in the center of the disk and that Antarctica is a wall of ice going around the perimeter of the disk to keep things from falling off. Okay. This is the most absurd concept I have ever heard in my life. This whole thing and how they come about it, how they come to try to rationalize everything, and so they've built a wall of ice, I guess. And you know what I heard just the other day is that somebody was, some video or somewhere, I can't even remember where, but he was saying that, yeah, we've tried to go down there, and people go down there to the wall of ice, and it's guarded by police and whatnot, and you get sent in prison if you're caught down there. Whatever. Okay. So just so you know, flat earthers in general don't always agree on what's in the center of their map. For some that are believers, they say it's Jerusalem. Okay. So I guess my question would be, has anyone actually run into this great wall of ice? I don't think so. Are there any witnesses to it? I don't think so. Are flat earthers worried about global warming and their ice wall melting? Perhaps. I don't know. If they live in La La Land, then perhaps that keeps them up at night. I don't know. So I'd like to know actually what kind of clothes Yahweh made Hava and Adam so that they could go exploring the ice part of their world, of their paradise, okay? Because as all of us who know what it's like to live in cold climates, naked and ice don't go together, okay? So Adam and Hava in paradise with ice. I don't think so. Although perhaps a flat earther believes that ice could be warm. Yeah, because nothing else in the model makes sense, so why not that? All right, and apparently another thing is south is a direction that doesn't exist to a flat earther. Did you know this? So I guess flat earth Bible literalists reject the scriptures that says south actually exists. So in Psalms 89:12 it says, north and south you created. Tabor and Hermon shout for joy at your name. So here we go. Psalms 89:12 says that north and south exist because he created it. Put that in your bonnet and be in your bonnet. All right, fallacy number 3. We're going to get through these. Fallacy number 3 is that gravity does not exist. I guess gravity doesn't exist. Okay, you knuckleheads, gravity worked when Mad Mike Hughes' homemade rocket that he strapped himself to fell back to the ground and killed him in February of 2020. This rich dude was on a mission to prove that the Earth was flat and that gravity didn't exist. All he proved is that gravity does exist and that it can be dangerous. Newton and Einstein, who are actual scientists, proved that gravity actually does exist. While, of course, flat earthers, who are not actual scientists, insist that things fall because, quote, it is just a natural property of everything, end quote. To me, that sounds like somebody was smoking with our neighbors last night. So Sean Murray says that depending upon which flat earther you ask, you are given a number of, quote, number of different nonsensical theories to explain why an object falls to the ground, ranging from electromagnetism, wrong, to air pressure, still wrong, or even that the density of objects simply being heavier than the surrounding medium, which is actually why boats float, but still doesn't disprove gravity, end quote. So flat earthers will also tell you that because scientists can't completely explain how gravity works, that it must be false, which is a ridiculous argument because, for one thing, we are not the creator of gravity, right? No. YHVH ELOHIM lets us learn and have knowledge as much as he wants us to learn and have knowledge, right? We don't get more or less. We get exactly what he wants us to know. Therefore, humans will never know absolutely everything because we are not him, right? But he made us interested in and gave us the ability to study and observe with our own eyes his creation. And we can he made us to understand the things that he made. So for those who are going to be spending eternity with YHVH ELOHIM, we will be discovering things about the family in heaven for forever. Forever. We will not be able to exhaust the depth of their love. We will not be able to exhaust the depth of their creation, all right? Because they are Elohim, we are not. They're God, we are not, right? We're the created, he's the creator, right? For another thing, saying that gravity doesn't exist because we can't see it and we can't fully explain it and we don't understand quite how it works, all of how it works, is the stupidest saying, YHVH doesn't exist because we can't see him. We don't know exactly how he works, right? And we can't fully explain him, okay? Oh, but I'll tell you what, they will know, these liars will know how he works when they meet him at the great white throne judgment. YHVH does exist, okay? We would have to simply choose to believe that YHVH doesn't exist because we see evidence of him everywhere, right? So do you remember the firstborn in Egypt? Remember they died at YHVH's hands? Whether they believed in him or not? Whether they believed he existed or not, the firstborn died, right? It's the same with gravity. And jump off a 14-foot story building and you will fall to your death whether you believe in gravity or not. So flat earthers' belief not only defy the laws of gravity, but flat earthers also reject almost all proven science. All right, here's a quote from my daughter from her article. She says, opposite what they think, gravity does work and it is a thing. The bigger the mass, the greater force pressing down on the mass, like when you're forming a cookie ball. Pulling it in with equal pressure on every point of the mass would ultimately create a sphere. When you look into space and wonder why every other planet we observe is spherical, the answer is that it's due to the way gravity likes things. End quote. Now I'm going to show you a little video clip from behind me, and you'll see in the International Space Station, there's a date. I can't remember it off the top of my head, but it was just recently, within the last few years. They were playing with water on the space station to see how water operates in space. And what does it do? It comes together in a ball. Yeah, all right, that's the way water wants to be. It doesn't want to be flat with four corners. It doesn't want to be sunk in with, a circle disc imprint. It doesn't, act like a disc. It acts like a ball. Everything's pressing in on it so that it's round, okay? This is science. This is like, this guy up back here is doing science, a science experiment. And show me a flat earther that can do it differently. So water droplets on Earth collect to make a sphere, not a flat plane. Professor Dave says that flat earthers are so science illiterate that they shout things like, gravity doesn't exist, and pretend that it isn't a stupid thing to say, end quote. So gravity's pull is what keeps our feet on the ground, not any of flat earthers' nonsensical theories of acceleration, which actually leads us to fallacy number 4. All right, we are going to get through this. Fallacy number 4 out of 18. That we are traveling in an upwards motion of 98 miles per hour into infinity. So we're like, the whole planet is like, the disk, excuse me, is like flying up at 98 miles per hour. So this is how most flatheads who reject gravity explain how we're sticking to the planet. Apparently, if our homes stopped, we would be hurled into space and die. Okay, so 1 Chronicles 16:30 says, fear before him all the earth, the world also shall be stable. Okay, that it be not moved. All right, and I want to just unpack that word stable and not moved. Stable is the word kun. It's in Strong's is 2559, and it means determined or reliable or steadfast or firmly established, maintaining position. That doesn't mean you have to not move at all, maintaining position. And then the be not moved is 4131. It's the word mot, and it means to totter, to shake, to slip, to fall, to falter, to stagger, okay? And then Psalms 93:1 says, Yehovah is clothed with strength, wherewith he hath girded himself. The whole world also is established, that it cannot be moved, okay? All right, so again, this word established is 3559 kun. It means installed, make sure, reliable, set in order, steadfast, directed, all right? And then moved is, again, the word mot, 4131. It means totter, shake, slip, fall, falter, stagger, okay? So, though many biblical literalists believe the earth is still and does not move at all, these texts that I just read you are not talking about an unmoving, motionless, floating stalactite in the universe, okay? But rather that our spherical planet called Earth, which is in motion, will stay in its predetermined course and motion and will not leave it. This is so important, as we don't want our planet flying up and upwards at 98 miles per hour into space. We don't want it to, go off course and fly into the sun or wander off into a black hole, okay? Although that's where I believe all these beliefs belong, is in the black hole. Okay, on to fallacy number 5, that the sun and the moon are both only 37 miles across in diameter and that they don't orbit the Earth. So I saw a series post from a flat earther that had a picture of a truck zooming down the highway with the setting sun in its truck bed. Okay, the caption was something like this, quote, NASA taking the sun down for repairs, proof that they are lying to us, end quote. One part of me wonders if this truly just isn't a joke, like that the flat earth, the whole flat earth movement, and all the people that buy into the flat earth nonsense aren't just laughing at all the people who are spending their time trying to, unpack their stupidity, because it is such a fallacy. It's such a lie. The whole thing is such a fairy tale. All right, fallacy number 6, we'll go on, that the sun is a spotlight. Now, if it's not stupid enough to believe that the moon and the sun are only 37 miles across, because remember, you've got them, and I think we're going to touch on this another flat earth fallacy, how they operate above the disk kind of thing. Fallacy number 6, that the sun is a spotlight. Okay, so the sun is like a flashlight, really? Really? So if that was so, just try this on. If that was so, then that night when I was writing the script, then I could look out my window and I would see the sun as a flashlight over, let's say, Japan. That way, right? Which would mean that it wouldn't necessarily be completely dark here because I could see such a bright light over there, right? So as a spotlight sun, I can't even believe I said those words, as a spotlight sun, all inhabitants of the planet would always be able to see the sun shining up another part of the disk, right? There would never be a time when it actually goes down, right? Which clearly the sun does go down, and when it shines, it lights up the whole entire sky, not just part of it. I don't look across the sky, and go, oh, there's the dark part. That's nighttime now. So their theory about the sun as a spotlight is observably wrong. Like, with our own eyes, we know that that does not exist, okay? So it's crazy that this idea is so nonsensical. And you know what, if you buy into if you're listening to me and you're like, oh, that's not what I believe, that's not what I believe about flat earth is X. Well, if you believe any part of flat earth, then you're part of the entire delusion, okay? So you can't just pick pieces and say, well, I'm going to believe that part of it and this part of it and this part of it. This is a theory that is being developed from hell. It's coming to us from the pit of hell. And you can't just say, well, I accept this part, I reject this part of it, but I accept this part of it. No, this is what flat earthers believe. So if you're going to call yourself a flat earther, or you're going to buy into the flat earth nonsense, then this is the kind of junk that you're going to be associated with, all right? All right, so fallacy number 7, that the sun, moon, and stars are super close to us and that they're actually inside the snow globe or the dome. Can you see my disgust? Okay. So flat earthers actually believe that the vast heavens that are completely infinite in number that the Creator put them into a glass dome over the earth, and somehow He makes it spin. Because we can obviously see, this is one thing that they have accounted for, trying to rationalize or figure out how it works, is that in their model, is that we obviously see the heavens move, right? Either they're moving or we're moving, right? So they have decided, well, it's not the earth spinning because we're not a globe. So it's got to be the dome is turning because all the stars in the vast heavens is inside this dome. Okay. They have absolutely no science to back this up. This is so stupid that it flies in the face of reality. This wouldn't even make sense to a grade schooler, people, okay? I actually do believe that at one point that there was a crystal that existed between the atmosphere and space, an ice crystal. And we see here in Genesis 7:11 where it says that the floodgates of heaven were opened. There's been a lot of scientific effort and study that has gone into what if there had been a little ice canopy around the entire earth, not around a dome or a flat earth, but around the entire globe. What would have happened with this ice canopy that actually fell during the flood and broke, right? Well, the plants would have been bigger. It would have been more like a same temperature all the way around the globe. There wouldn't have been ice anywhere, and you could have been, walk around in your skivvies and you could have walked around all over the planet, naked, and you wouldn't have been cold, right? So the plants were bigger, the fruit and the berries and the plant, all the things to eat were so much bigger, the animals were bigger, people were bigger, okay? So they have proven that with scientific research. They've actually built one in Texas a long time ago. I remember researching this, and they built something that would have, an atmosphere that would have been like that. There's a lot of scientists that believe this, true scientists that believe it, a lot of true science that has been done on this, and my full acceptance of this understanding comes from scientific proof, not from mere conjecture or a narrative that I want to see. I'm not saying that there was ever, the vast heavens in this, ice crystal that went around the globe. No, that's a totally different thing, okay? All right, let's go on. If you want to research that, I don't even know where to send you. But anyway, fallacy number 8. We will get there. We're 8 of 18. All right. That atmospheric conditions can explain everything that the flat earth model can't. This is funny. Listen up. Flat Earth people just conveniently blame other things that they can't explain to explain the things that they originally can't explain. Okay, this is like giving me a headache, people. I need some water. Fallacy number 9, that the sun and the moon look consistently round as they would hypothetically move in a circular path above the disk. Okay, so in the flat Earth model, if you don't know, you have the disk, and then you have a moon and a sun. They're only 37 miles across each. They're very, very small. And they circle opposite each other, and they go like this, all right? And you've got the sun as a spotlight sun. It's the most stupid thing in the world. Anyway, they go this way, and as they move, the idea, some flat Earthers believe that those are not spheres, the moon and the sun, but they're actually disks. So if they were disks moving around like this, then we have a problem, okay? So in reality, they would, as they move away from us, they would cease to be round. When from our view, if we look up, if this theory was correct, you would observe the moon and the sun becoming oblong and then going back to round when it comes back over you, okay? So my question is, has anyone witnessed an oblong moon or an oblong sun? Anyone? No, of course not, unless you're on crack or something. No, you haven't. No one has. Absolutely no inhabitants on this planet have ever seen the sun or the moon change shape, ever since the world was created 7,000 years ago, okay? It doesn't exist. All right, let's go on to fallacy number 10 of 18. One can get, here's the fallacy. One can get to other lands which exist through a door in this never-ending frozen Antarctica. All right, so somebody has been playing computer games too much. Somebody's been living in La La Land too much. All right. I want to mention something here is that, okay, this is what I want to say here before we go on to finish this, is that you may be sitting here thinking, you know what, Rebekah, I don't believe all of that, but they might have something to the idea of a flat disk or whatever. You might say, oh, I want this part of the theory and not this part. I'm going to buy this much, but not this much. You can't do that. Okay, you're either a flat Earth person or you're not. Okay, so if you are a flat Earth person and you buy the lie and you're buying this nonsense, then you buy all of it. Okay. You can't pick and choose. It's just like, as believers, you can't pick and choose what laws you keep. It's important to understand, to divide the word of truth and figure out what law still exists. Absolutely, and if you need help doing that, I got plenty of videos down below or in our channel that help you unpack the Melchizedek law, which is eternal, which always was and always will be, is and always will be, and there is some that has done away with the Levitical law. But my point here is that you can't just pick and choose and say, well, I'm this kind of flat earther, I'm this kind of flat earther. You're either a flat earther or you're not, okay? And you're gonna basically, if you say I'm a flat earther, then all this baggage is going to be like, assumed, by the other person. Oh, you must believe in X, Y, and Z. It's just, you can't pick and choose. You are either or you're not, okay? So get off the fence. You're either hot or you're cold. Okay? All right, so we're gonna keep looking at this fallacy number 10. Well, some people believe that there is some door in Antarctica which opens up into other worlds. So one of the things that I think I have discovered is that a lot of these people are gamers. They are online all the time. They live in other worlds. So I feel like they are delusional, completely lost touch with reality. I think these people look at life as a computer game, and that is causing a whole hell of a lot of problems. All right, fallacy number 11, that not seeing a curve of the earth proves that it is not spherical. Okay, so fallacy number 11 is not seeing a curve of the earth. This is what flat earthers say, is that they don't see a curve of the earth. So therefore, because they don't see it with their eyes, then it doesn't exist, that it's not a sphere. I have a scratch. Okay, there we go. But like countless scientific observations, and Neil Grasse's, a famous astrophysicist says, All right, let me start this section all over because that wasn't so good. Didn't work for me. Okay. So, all right, so fallacy number 11, that not seeing a curve of the earth proves that it is not spherical. Okay. You must think you're like 30 feet tall or something to be able to see a curve, all right? So, but we're short, okay? Not like we used to be. Like countless scientists and scientific observations, and Neil Grasse, a famous astrophysicist, says, and who says? He says, sections of large curved surfaces will always look flat to little creatures like ourselves who walk on it. Yeah, bingo. So I'd like you to hear from my pilot friend Stuart, who has seen the curve of the earth. I'm going to play a clip for you. Take it away, Stuart.
I've seen the curvature at 41,000 feet from the front of the earth, from the front of the plane where you have a panoramic view.
Right.
So unless you're sitting at the front, you can't see full. Actually, I can see more than 180 degrees. I can see back about, I don't know, I'd call it 220 degrees around from front, and you can see nothing but blue ocean across the Pacific or the Atlantic once you get to the certain point, and it goes like this.
And it has a curve.
It has a curve, and that's from 41,000 feet.
Wow.
And space is around 60 or 70. From a passenger perspective, you can only see this much.
Right.
But from a pilot's perspective, you can see that much.
Right.
And there's a difference.
Yeah.
It's a big difference.
And plus the curvature there, I mean, you're talking a lot of landmass there. So when you stand and look at the ocean, part of their argument is, well, I stand and look at the ocean.
You can only see the ocean.
Like, right. And they're like, it's flat. And I'm like, okay, like you're a little tiny.
And go up.
Right.
The further you go up, like 41,000 feet, which is about the highest you can get.
Yeah.
It's higher than airliners go.
Okay.
But in a private jet, you can go even to 50,000 feet, which is even higher than airliners.
Which is what you fly.
Which is what I've been flying. And so you can see a wider angle and you can go higher. Yeah. And if you go higher still, you start to see this, and then you see this, and then you see the whole darn thing.
Right.
But at 40,000, 45,000 feet, you can see
the images that are sent back from the space station and stuff should be.
Yeah. Well, what's cool is you can see how bright it is at the surface, then you start to see the blackness of space.
Yeah.
Because I can't only see just this way, I can see all the way up, and it's dark black up there.
Oh, wow.
And it's bright blue down here.
Wow.
So you can see the spectrum as you get closer and closer. In broad daylight, you can start to see stars.
Wow.
Flying private jets for, will it be 8? Yeah, well, yeah, I was 18 when I started. I'm 35 now, so.
Wow.
So it's 17 years.
You've been a private jet.
My whole professional life, that's all I've done, so.
This is my pilot friend.
Yeah.
This is Stuart.
It's a good time.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, we're getting done. Fallacy number 12 out of 18, that all 24 astronauts who claim to have seen the Earth from deep space are liars, and they don't accept any eyewitnesses. This is my biggest problem with this, actually. So even though there have been many people who went into deep space who have seen with their own eyes the blue ball of our planet, there have been pictures and videos taken of it. We can watch a live stream from the space station, which is capturing in real time each Earth footage showing clearly the curve of our blue ball rotating at 24/7, okay? So there's a International Space Station that has a live feed. They are filming the Earth as it's spinning underneath them, or as they're moving around it, however it works, 24/7, sending feed to Earth witnesses that have gone out into deep space that flat earthers completely reject. Okay, of course, if this cult had anyone who claimed to be an eyewitness account of a flat earth, which they don't have an eyewitness for, they would instantly accept their testimony and put that person up on a pedestal to worship, would they not? This is really all they need for credibility, but they ain't got it and they ain't gonna get it because it don't exist. okay? They have absolutely no witnesses. We have witnesses to the earth. We're going to talk about witnesses later. All right, so on to fallacy number 13 out of 18. We're getting there. So fallacy number 13, most flat earthers believe that the government lies to us about absolutely everything, and that we are on a big sound set and everyone is acting, kind of like the Truman Show, I think, or we are part of the Matrix, literally plugged into it. All right, this is what people literally believe. Like, if you call yourself a flat earther, this is what you're believing, okay? So do you really think that Yehovah Elohim, I'm looking at you, I'm talking to you, believer. Do you who say you're a believer? I want you to really think through this. Do you really think that Yehovah Elohim, the creator, would allow this to happen? He would allow the Truman Show to happen to us for real, or the Matrix to really happen to us for real? I think not. So flat earth is as nonsensical, irrational, and delusional as is the lie of evolution, people. Discernment will tell us that Hasatan mixes truth with lies. So what I want to say here is that not absolutely everything that the government is telling us is a lie. Okay, remember, Hasatan mixes truth and error together, okay? So yes, there's a lot of things that the government lies to us about, absolutely, because our governments are being controlled right now by, Hasatan. All right, it has to be that way until the king comes back, and he's going to come back and put them all under his feet, right? And he's going to take control, bring his Melchizedek administration, and actually put a good government here, which we don't even know what a good government's like because we've never had one, because we need Yeshua to come and do it, right? And he's going to get the chance to do that. For 1,000 years, he's going to reign here, and he's going to have this wonderful government here he's going to establish with Yah's law at the center of it and all this. So it's going to come, but you know what? Until then, it doesn't mean that just because they're wicked doesn't mean, and they're operating wrong, doesn't mean that they're lying about everything to you, okay? Truth with error. This is discernment, okay? You've got to use discernment, okay? All right, fallacy number 14 out of 18, that all the pictures of our globe-shaped planet are fake. This is one of my favorite ones. If there could be a stupider one, this is one of the stupidest ones. That all the pictures of our globe-shaped planet are completely fake, okay? Flat earthers believe that every photo that has ever been taken of Earth from space has been photoshopped. So I am a pro at Photoshop. It's like, I know it like the back of my hand. I've used it for 30 years. It came out in 1988. I personally started using it in 1994. So I've been using it for a very long time. I started using it 6 years after it was developed. So these people who believe this are living in a delusion because, for one thing, Photoshop didn't exist when the first photo was taken in 1966. And then the second one was taken in 1968. 68 with Apollo 8 mission, and then from there on out more were taken. So Photoshop wasn't even around when the first picture was taken, people, okay? So one of the things I want to point out here is that flat earthers are conveniently forgetting the fact that they are the ones using Photoshop completely to create this whole concept of flat earth. There's not one photo of it. It's all made with Photoshop and the like, okay? Maggie, in her article, writes, flat earthers wholly believe that every government agency is in on a big theatrical production, working together to deceive the entire world into thinking our Earth is actually spherical, when in reality, it's flat. They promote that every photo transmitted from space taken during space flights and lunar landings, as well as all 24/7 live video feed from the space station, are CGI or filmed in a Hollywood studio. Okay, that's what they believe, but that's not the truth. The truth is that the government is not completely lying to us about everything. This is the globe, the spherical Earth is not a lie. Flat Earth is a lie, and the flat earthers in Photoshop to create their world. And they're blaming the people who believe in a sphere, that they're using Photoshop to create the sphere, okay? So, whatever. So I will admit that as I was looking for footage and videos for this flick, I did find it hard to, you have to have a lot of discernment to know between a photo that is produced in Photoshop and one that is true. So yes, it takes some discernment. It is a little difficult, especially if you're not going to the source. So I went to the source for as much as I could to find true footage, true pictures, but you can totally see how somebody can take a photo and then manipulate it in Photoshop to make something a narrative that they want. But it's so stupid. It's so unbelievable. This is just where, as a believer, you have to have discernment. So when you see a picture of the earth, you have to say, if you want to know, if we all know it's a globe, we all know it's spherical. So, you can make, a balloon into it. You can do, a child can draw a picture of it, sort of thing, because we know what the real thing is, right? We've never seen a flat earth. There is no real thing to draw from, okay? So just use your head. Just use your brain, people. Okay, fallacy number 15 of 18. Here we go. Earth doesn't orbit anything, and the planets aren't even real. No comment. All right, fallacy number 16, that a disk can exit. I'm getting so tired of this. Okay, fallacy number 16, that a disk can exist in space at all. All right, so this is fallacy. A disk the size of our planet would actually collapse in on itself because of the force of gravity and would spontaneously turn the disk into a sphere, a shape that the flatheads reject. Okay, so just as we saw a little bit ago with what it looked like, what water does in the ISS, or the International Space Station, how it comes together in a ball, that's what it would do. So if by chance there was, at some point in time, that was a flat disk, the Earth was a flat disk, it wouldn't stay there. It would it would over time become a ball. Okay, it never was a disk. It was created a sphere, okay? It was created a ball, a planet, a round ball. All right. Let's see what else I wrote about this. But then if gravity doesn't exist, then that would be more convenient for them. I wrote, I think that the brains of flat earthers have collapsed in on themselves. All right, fallacy number 17, we're only one away from the final one. The fallacy number 17 is that you could live in a dome. I'd like you to hear from my pilot friend, Stuart, who shares his biggest issue with this theory. Take it away, Stuart.
Wherever you are on the proposed disk, at the same altitude you get above the disk's surface, the air thins out equally.
Okay.
And so at 18,000 feet, you have half the atmospheric pressure as you do on the surface of the disk.
Okay.
But it uniformly narrows out in atmospheric pressure at 18,000 feet, whether you're in Europe, Asia, North America, South America. So if it's uniformly thinning out in pressure at 18,000 feet, you would, if it were a disk, you would have a disk that were becoming something more like a hockey puck.
Right.
So it would just be a hockey puck at this point because it's thick air down here and thinner up here.
Okay.
And it's the same thickness of air all the way up. Because the air pressure is the same at 18,000 feet no matter where you are on the disk. That means the pressure is the same. So then you don't have a globe around it. You have equal pressure.
So you wouldn't have a snow globe?
You wouldn't.
There's no way, there's not even possible.
No, you'd have a thicker hockey puck.
Right. So that it's not even...
You can't, if you were on the edge of the hockey puck or the disc, you would run into the globe's edge. And no one has defined where that is. No one's ever found it. And we've been all the way around the world from Thailand to the United States. And we kept one direction the whole time. And we never changed a cardinal direction. And we got to the other side of the globe,
Right.
which should be the other end or edge of the
Yeah,
disk.
because if you were get to the other side and it was a disk, you would have to turn direction.
Yeah, the atmospheric pressure is my only way to describe that there's no way
Right.
it could be equally pressurized at an altitude higher than the surface unless it were a perfect sphere with
Sphere.
pressure, gravity
Great.
specifically bringing it towards
Well, that's
the
one
center.
thing that these people don't believe is in gravity. They don't believe gravity exists. You can't live in a dome. It doesn't work. All right, so the last fallacy I'm going to touch on here, which I'm sure there are a plethora of more fallacies, but this is all I wanted to make time for. Fallacy number 18, that the moon landing was fake, and NASA and all the thousands of astronauts and people who work in that field around the world are liars. So we touched on the government being liars, lying to us or whatnot, but now we also have to deal with the idea that NASA has lied to us. Okay, so as Neil deGrasse Tyson says, the astrophysicist that I quoted earlier, in his interview called "Was the Moon Landing Faked?" he said, "Yes, we went to the moon, people." It's, okay, he didn't put the word people in there, I did. He said, "It's way easier to just go to the moon. That's easier than faking all of this." So I don't know if you have done any research on everything they've done in research, the scientists have done. It is huge. There is so much, it's overwhelming, people. So Sean writes that flat earthers believe that everyone who works with the space program has been bribed by said government to keep their mouths shut about what they actually saw. That's what flat earthers believe. They believe that the government is paying off everyone to be quiet. There are thousands of people all over the globe who work in government positions and who have not been paid money to promote this lie. Okay, so here's an example. One person in the online thread that J.K. McKee read Plus, if the earth was really flat, they would have to be paying me a full salary to lie for a living. There's not enough money in the government to pay all the engineers to do worthless work and lie all day if actually all the engineers were actually willing to do that. End of quote. So here you have thousands and thousands and thousands of people, working in this sort of needing the globe for their job. A spherical earth, it depends on a spherical earth, and in order for the government to actually make, cover it up, they'd have to be paying so many people to cover it up, to lie all the time. Maggie writes, flat earthers believe that NASA is untrustworthy and faking their way through dummy research to promote a gigantic lie, all for the big bucks. But firstly, NASA is not the only, this is her quote, firstly, NASA is not the only space agency out there. There are at least a dozen others, including AEB, LAPAN, JAXA, AEM, and the list goes on, Norse Rossmister, ROSA, blah, 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 Polish Space Agency, and just dozens of others around the world. Each of these space agencies are devoted to space exploration, research, and technology engineering. Many of these companies have had astronauts spend time on the International Space Station and therefore have eyewitness accounts of a spherical Earth. There are also many private space organizations separate from the government, such as SpaceX, that also have eyewitness accounts. According to their database, NASA alone has had over 17,000 employees. Times that by the amount of employees in every other space organization, add in everyone that is a part of any private space program, plus individuals in government, recording studios, CGI departments, prop coordinators, film directors, finances, agents, reporters, news crews, medical teams, physical trainers, and the list goes on. All those people, and I mean all of them, would have been in on the hoax, and in all this time, no one has squealed? Highly unlikely. The amount of people in on it would outnumber the amount of people who buy into the hoax. That in itself does not add up. Companies like NASA and SpaceX would not pay their employees to do nothing, and they would not spend millions of dollars on building tech that has absolutely no purpose. End quote. Thank you, Maggie. All right, so we're done with the fallacies. And one more thing I want to add into this talk, in this video, is a little about conspiracy before we end it. So very quickly, the definition of a conspiracy is a secret plan by a group to do something unlawful or harmful. Okay, so Isaac did a quick research on conspiracies, however you want to say that. So flat earthers call the globe a conspiracy. But as Isaac discovered, a real conspiracy has characteristics or signs that are detectable and that give it away. Okay, over time there would have to be a leak somehow. Someone would have to provide proof that NASA or others in the different space programs around the world have been in on it for years, over 6 decades actually. Somebody would squeal, all right? There would have to be an informant that came forward at some point. But everyone's story is exactly the same here. There has never been a so-called leak. So there are absolutely no detectable signs that point to the spherical Earth being a conspiracy. Nothing, nada, zilch, nothing. That's because it isn't a conspiracy. It is the truth. The spherical Earth is truth, but would you say that flat Earth is a conspiracy? So now, after all of that, if you're still believing flat Earth is a thing, you might actually just need a vacation. Maybe you're too stressed out. Your mind is having a meltdown. So may Yehovah bless you with clarity, and may he rescue you from this flat earth lie. So I actually hope that this whole thing, this journey with me, has been painful to you. as painful as it was for me to produce, because I don't want you to forget this. All right, so thanks for watching. So we have discussed the 18 flat earth fallacies, and then a little bit about what a conspiracy is, actually what a true conspiracy looks like. So please stay tuned for part 6, where we will look at history, witnesses, and the blue marble. All right, so we're checking sound. Today is 18 flat earth fallacies, and I'm depressed. So I don't even know what else to say. I am so glad I'm done with that part.